Sometimes you just want a good book. How about something cozy? Mysterious? Let's talk about cozy mysteries. How's that for right on the nose, right?
Right on the nose.
Welcome back, everybody. My name is Rob. This is my mom, Karen, and you are watching Books, Banter and Beyond, all about books, book-related topics, and just a lot of fun every time we record, I think. So today we're going to talk about a very fun genre here called the cozy mystery, something I've read a lot of, so I actually have some personal thoughts on it as well. But for those of you who are unaware of the cozy mystery, it kind of takes the serious out of a thriller and puts you into more of a hometown feel. So picture kind of a Hallmark style mystery movie where there's a lot of kind of cliche, kind of grown worthy jokes, but there's still a mystery to solve, whether it's a murder mystery, whether it's a whodunit, one of those.
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool that these are a thing because a lot of times when you want to read a thriller, you don't want all of the graphic details. You want something that can be enjoyed and something that when you're done reading, you kind of go, that was cool.
Right.
And a lot of these people have a whole series of them, so you can kind of keep going.
Like a light read. It's a light read that's enjoyable.
It is very, yes. And most of these books are very short. So if you're looking for something quick and easy, these are something you'd want to track down because they're super, super quick. And you'll notice a lot of them have themes of food, which we'll talk about maybe why that's a thing. And a lot of them are just talking about things of, one of them we're going to talk about actually talks about solving your own murder. So that's kind of an interesting little thing there. But let's get into our short list that we have. Number one, I think you've actually heard of this author too, Joanne Fluke, known for her food-related mysteries. She has the chocolate chip cookie murder. And it all begins with a bakery, a murder, and some scandalously good chocolate chip cookies.
Say that 5 times
right?
fast.
I know. I can barely say it half once. Character Hannah Swenson already has her hands full trying to dodge her mother's attempts to marry her off while running the cookie jar in Lake Eden, Minnesota. But once Ron LaSalle, the beloved delivery man, is found murdered behind her bakery, it's up to Hannah to figure out who did it and why. What's actually kind of a fun fact about her books here is I believe she's the one that has actual recipes at the back of her book. So after you read and you hear about all the delicious baked goods, you can actually make the fictional recipes in real life, depending on the topic of the thing. So in this case, it'd be.
Is she a baker? I mean, is the writer actually a baker as well, or
I was trying to a while back. I looked it up to see, and I don't know if she's specifically a true baker, but I believe it is a passion of hers. So I think she decided that it was something she wanted to put in there for a little bit of extra fun, because who doesn't want to have
it's fun.
A brownie, a muffin while you're enjoying the mystery here. So I think she is amazing in terms of that idea, because not many others that I've read do this type of thing where not only do you have a book, but you have a hobby.
Right. And we talk about this a lot, about the experience of the book and reading the book, and it's all the different senses. And you can hear things, you can, maybe smell things just because the way it's described, but to be able to also taste things, I mean, that's another sense that gets into the experience of reading the book. So I like that.
It is. And we've talked about a few times about various foods from books. So we talk about a lot how food is important to various fiction stories.
Right.
But this just takes it up one more level to be like, hey, we're going to give you a fun murder mystery. We're going to make it about, a bakery. And hey, when you're done, you can go make this batch of cookies to
open your own bakery. And open your own bakery.
Right? Number two, I've actually read this series. The first of the series is called Meet Your Baker. And all of them are actually cliches of kind of like sentences. In this case, it would be meet your maker instead of, meet your baker. And this is by Ellie Alexander. This one follows a woman named Jules who ends up helping her mom run their bakery known as Tort. And in this particular one, she comes back after a long time out at sea and off the bat, somebody from the Oregon Shakespeare Festival is killed, and she just can't get herself out of not looking up what's going on. Even though everybody tells her to stop, she just can't help herself. This one I have read, and I've read actually a few into the series. I will say one thing, and I think if you are a cozy mystery fan, you'll already know what I'm about to say. The plot line for all of these style books is exactly the same for every book, no matter who writes it. But again, that's not a bad thing, because if you are reading cozy mystery, you are expected that this is going to be the same exact story in every book that you read.
Right.
Be adding in a new character here or there.
Right.
Otherwise. So it is something funny, because a lot of times people want, we've talked to people, or we talked about people that say, I want something new every time. So this is one of those type of books that it's not going to be new, but it's still going to be exciting, because you're following basically what has become a part of your character family throughout, right? So this is one of my favorites. I recommend it. I actually read a bunch off of Libby. And I was able to get through most of them. And I got through about 3 or 4 in a month. That's how quick I was able to get through them, pretty fast. So they are pretty short if you have the time to do so. Lastly, what I was talking about earlier, this one's called How to Solve Your Own Murder by Kristen Perrin. And for fans of movies like Knives Out or The Thursday Murder Club, this one follows a teenager named Frances Adams, who's told by a fortune teller that one day she is going to be murdered. And she spends her entire life trying to figure out who it's going to be before it actually happens. She'll dig up dirt on people that she knows, people that she doesn't know. Basically, anybody that crosses her path could be a suspect.
Right.
Her own. This is super fun. This kind of gives me Clue vibes. This gives me those type of like old school, kind of comedic, but also whodunit. And again, we're taken back to the 60s. So this is written in a time decades ago. So not only do you get to time travel, you get to kind of see what
I'm laughing. Time travel in the 60s. Okay. Okay, just had to
for
say
those
that.
of you who are around today who weren't in the 60s, I'll put it that way. How about that?
I was 11. So.
Anyway, but yeah, so I think this is actually a really fun one. I think I might actually have to pick this one up, because I love the idea of having to be your own detective on your own case that basically is going to dictate your own survival, so to speak. But I think probably the best question here is, what really differentiates these from a regular whodunit, as they call it, right?
Food.
I mean, in this case, you got a lot of food, you got some comedy, but I think really what differentiates is that these authors are trying to, I guess, maybe shorten down the mysteries genre into bite-sized packages that are easily read, instead of, let's say, maybe an Agatha Christie that you actually have to pay attention to. You have to really kind of connect the dots. These books, to me at least, allow you to sit back, relax, and kind of let the author do the thing, and then go, oh, wow, twist ending, So I think that's the biggest difference, is it allows you to relax more than having to focus on, say, another genre.
It's interesting as I'm looking at these, and what you say makes total sense. It sort of follows the same path of, let's say, romance novels that have a thematic thing,
sure,
and they go book to book to book to book to book, and in those cases, the characters maintain them. They're within all the books, so they add new characters and they go back. Is that the same thing with things like this, when you have a series of books of mystery?
So, for instance, the one by Ellie Alexander, Juliet, the main character, is in all of them and continues to be in all of them. Her mom is in all of them. Her ex-husband's in all of them. All this stuff. So all the main characters are there. The only difference is basically who was murdered and maybe where they're at the time. So maybe if they go on vacation, maybe if they move states. So everybody's still there.
Right.
But maybe the location has changed, so to speak.
And somebody else,
I think makes it easier for me, because at least I can go, oh, I remember her, I remember this person.
It's kind of why I like that. But you know that I've been reading fiction books, and I'm reading a series. It's
Right,
called it's women romance, but it's not really romance. It's more just sort of like a story that encapsulates families and friendships and how they go through the years and how they touch this family and then that family
right.
gets dragged in and things like that. And it's very entertaining, and you feel like you're in the story, not just reading the story. And maybe that's what you're saying, you're in it, you feel like you're experiencing it along with the characters.
You do. I think you do. I think you definitely feel more connected to the character than you would in some other sort of genres.
So we want to encourage people to go check out the next chapter of bookstore.shop. It's an online bookstore at the moment, and it is gently used books. And I know you've just recently launched a new site, and so go check it out. It's really cool. There's lots of different kinds of books, different genres, different categories. Fun stuff to read. There's comic books. There's everything in there, right? Something for everybody. And what I like most about it, I say it every week, is that it's gently used. You're not just buying a book. You're buying the experience. You're buying the travels that the book went on till it got to you. So I
I
kind of
like
like
that. The travels the book went on. I like that.
yeah, the journey it went on before it got to your house, and maybe you'll end up sending it out somewhere else. We have a library here in the community that we live in. It's a volunteer run library. It's a full on library, and you can go in. You don't have to actually check out a book by putting your name there. You just honor system. You go in, you take a book, and you read, and you come back and you put it back on the shelf. And I love that because we know that people have touched all those books in the community, right? It's
Mm,
part of the experience. For me, that might be weird, but that's part of the experience for me in particular.
I like it. I'll take it.
Okay, you can take that. Always fun. Hopefully, you guys had some fun today. Do you like cozy mystery stories? Let us know. Is there a story that you like that you've read that falls in the genre of a cozy mystery story? I'd never heard of that before, so I'm going to have to kind of rack my brain on that one. And as always, go out, give somebody an awesome day. We're going to see you next time on Books Banter and Beyond. Goodbye, everyone.